And I'm on the microphone because I was the MC and sang the opening numbers and stuff like that. And I hear this guy go, "You are too loud." And I said, "What?" He goes, "You are too loud." And I said, "Excuse me?" And he comes up to the stage. He goes, all of y'all are too loud." And I looked at him and I said, "I'm sorry, I don't speak French." And the whole place starts laughing at this guy and at my repartee. And he leans onto the stage and goes, "You guys are too loud." And I looked at him and said, "We're from Texas. We're supposed to be loud." Well, 10 minutes later, he's dancing on top of his table as the band's just tearing it up. So, you know, so much for being too loud. Saying, you know, because I was the band leader and stuff like that. And she goes, "You know, you are not the best. And you have an ego about yourself, and you are not the best." She goes, "You're just a little bit better than everybody else, but you are not the best." I didn't know what to say about that. You know, I was just a little bit better than everybody else that had been in their club, but I was not the best.
Right.
So what do you do with that?
Right.
You know, and at that time, my ego was flying pretty. My ego was flying pretty good, but I always remembered the old muddy waters axiom of, there is no best, you can only be a good one. And that's all I ever wanted to be, was a good one. But let me tell you, I can play this shit. You know, and I can play it better than a lot of people.
Tell me about the Miller Lite commercial that you did.
Okay. Now this was in Austin. It was I don't know, 93, something like that. And I had my own band. I wasn't touring with anybody. I was touring with my band, doing some regional work, the Colorado and all that sort of stuff. And I whittled it down to a crack little trio. And we were playing a Monday night residency at this place called Maggie Mae's on 6th Street. And so anyway, and it's this big, and it's a big place, and it's Monday night, and it's dead as shit. And there's a group of people shooting pool in the back, right? So anyway, we're playing, and we get through the first set, and you've seen me play to empty rooms. You know, I still, I put everything I've got into it.
Absolutely.
I hit the stage, guitar in my hand. There ain't no goofing off. I'm serious as shit about my music, you know, and I play my ass off. And so we were playing our asses off. Johnny Benoit was the drummer, and pause for a second. All I can remember right now is his nickname, P2. He was a guy from Paris. He's one of my best friends at the time. I taught him how to play blues bass. And I'm having a senior moment. Oh God, he's gonna kill me. Was on bass. And so we finished our first set. And a couple of people come out from that group that was shooting pool. And they say, "Hey, we're in town shooting a Miller Lite commercial. And our director wants to talk to you about, you know, y'all shooting the Miller Lite commercial with us over the next couple days. It'll pay pretty good, 1,500 a man, you know." And we just went, "Fuck you. Get the fuck away from it." We weren't in the mood, you know. You know, people say all sorts of stupid shit to you, stupid stuff to you when you're performing, you know. And we just going, "Get the hell out of here." And we chased, you know, "Don't make me come off the stage, beat your ass," you know. And well, then a whole group of them come up. The director and the assistant director come up and they go, "No, we're serious. We want you to," here, they wrote down the address of this hotel and said, "Be here at this room at 9 o'clock in the morning." We're just going, "Yeah, okay." I'll tell you what, we'll be there. And so we played our gig and stuff, you know, and they partied all night, and then we all left as friends and stuff, but we didn't believe any of that crap. Well, we just on the lark, we showed up at the hotel a little early, about 8:30 and stuff like that. And as we're walking in, another band, a very popular Austin band, was walking out, and they were cussing them and stuff like that. And they're going, somebody got this gig and it isn't us. And we were told by our management we were going to get this gig. And so we walk in. We didn't bring instruments or anything. And they go, well, act like you're playing a song on stage in front of a real lively crowd. So we just mimicked guitar, drums, and bass, and we jumped around like we were the Monkees or some shit. They go, okay, you got the gig. Show up at this place down on 6th Street tomorrow morning at 6:30 in the morning. So we show up, and they converted one of the bars into a TV set, and they were really after our drummer. Johnny Benoit had movie star looks, but they had to take all three of us. Well, they liked all three of us. I mean, we could play. And God, P2's going to be so mad at me because I can't remember his damn name. When I remember it, I'll text you and
Sure.
just insert that. So we acted like we were customers at the bar, and there's one scene in the commercial where I amble up to the bar, 2 beers, you know, get the 2 beers and wander off. And then the next day, we're playing, they had us meet them at a small Texas town, Fisher, Texas, at the Fisher Dance Hall, which was an old dance hall from the early 1900s. It's just amazing. Journey, stop it. And we got there late because we were too busy smoking pot in the van, and we got a late start for some reason. Anyway, we pull up on the set, and they're all freaking out because the band's not there yet.
Oh, right.
You know, well, they come running to the van. We open up the doors. All this smoke comes billowing out like a Cheech and Chong movie, and we all stumble out. And they grab Benoit. They go and put him in this old Ford pickup truck with this beautiful model that they had as part of the show, and had them driving up and down a country road outside of Fisher while the rest of us set up everything on the stage, you know, after they freaked out. And then they just had us, they go, okay, what we want you to do now is, for this next scene, is just pretend like you're rehearsing. And at that time, I'd never been in a rehearsal. This is before I joined Lavelle. And I had rehearsals for her band just because I was auditioning people and with the people to shape and getting a showtime. But except for that, I'd never had a rehearsal. I didn't know how to run a rehearsal. And so we just laughed. We're just going, we don't rehearse. We just play whatever song John calls, you know, however he feels. And I go and I call whichever song I remember the words to, you know. And I've never had a set list. I don't do that stuff. I call the next song as the one that I can remember most of the words to. And so they said, well, just play then and then entertain everybody. So while we played and everyone was on lunch break inside the hall and eating tacos and stuff, and we played a 30-minute set, and they filmed it. And then when the commercial comes on, I saw it once after a friend of mine got a videotape copy of it. I never saw it when it was playing. And it starts off with a camera zooming down the neck of my guitar past my hand while I'm playing and focusing on the drummer, you know, because he was the star of the commercial, right? And it was just wild. And 2 days' work, we made $10,000 a piece. Right after the commercial, I left and did my first tour of Italy in Switzerland under my name. And when I came back, you know, that's when Lavelle's management got hold of me
And during my tour, my band had gone on to play with some fairly big names in the independent rock category at that time. My bass player and drummer were playing with Paul Simeon or some from the Clash and other people like that. They were a great rhythm section, and so I came back and didn't have any gigs lined up, and was just making mailbox money from this commercial. And my wife had fallen down and broke her leg in two places, compound fractures, and so she was in half a body cast, and she wasn't working, and I wasn't working. And Lavelle's manager called me up just at the right time. And so I put a band together for Lavelle because she'd been banned from Chicago because her band was not up to snuff at all. And her first album had just come out on the Antones Records, Miss Lavelle. And so I put a band together that would play the record note for note. And we put up a show and hit the festival circuit. And we did that for 5 years. And we played all over the world, all over this country. And I'd already toured all over the country with Larry and with Paul Orta and the Kingpins and Hook and the Hitchhikers and stuff like that. I'd always worked and was always touring. Like I used to say, well, I lived in Austin for about 22 years and stuff, and I was on the road for 25 of them. And so yeah, that's what happened. I put that band together, and then when that version of the band broke up, then I put another version of the band together that was even better. And that band really took, every place we went, we just stomped. And, I had Freddie Farrow on drums. He just, he was not with Sue Foley anymore. And so he was playing drums for us. And we had Sauce Gonzalez, Arturo Gonzalez on Hammond B3. Like I said, he was in a band that in the early 60s was a band called Sonny and the Sunliners. And they had a nationwide hit, Cry For Me, I think. I don't remember the tune, I don't remember the hit. But they had a nationwide hit, and they were on Dick Clark's American Bandstand. And then, like I said, they all got drafted and sent to Vietnam. That kind of broke that version of that band up. And so anyway, and then Sauce would play with Doug Somm all the time, and the West Side Horns, and with a bunch of conjunto bands and Tex-Mex bands that were really famous in the Hispanic communities all over this country, and he toured with them for years. He was an ace B3 player, and him and I were roommates, and I love Sauce. He was a wonderful person and a good mentor towards me, helped me out a lot with different things. And a lot of times he got me, when we weren't on tour, or even after we both had quit Lavelle, he got me gigs playing with the West Side Horns, all Mexican R&B bands, really highly regarded. And we played, these Mexican biker joints and stuff like that, and places where, to this day, I'll never forget playing at Club 71, and I'm still friends with the former owner, because that club's been closed down, a guy named John Garza. He was known as Juaneo. And these were all bikers, man, and hardcore outlaw bikers. It was a bikers club, and it was an adventure. I'll just put it that way.
Right.
And I won't go into the specifics, so to speak. But
Right.
It was a wild time.